with a month of stunning upsets. Which clans will rise? Which clans will fall? China Rush broke into the rankings at number 12. Can they push further into the top 10? With Feng Chan gone, who will win the battle to be world number 1? Another amazing video this ranking period. We have 48 elite wars, we've got 29 elite clans, we've got 4 clans in and 3 clans out, and just a round of stunning upsets. So with really mixed results, I guess really hard to guess which clans have gone where in the rankings and which clans are number 1, but that's what we've got the ranking system for, so let's get into it. In breaking clan war news, look, the major news of the round is that 8th of June saw Feng Chan, the former number 1 clan, actually closed for clan wars. So number 1 spot is vacated, and that means number 1's up for grabs. Many clans in the running. Next in clan ranking news is I've made a change this period. So as people will know, that I use the ELO system for doing rankings. So what that means is the points gain or points lost is based on the result between 2 clans, whether it's a win, lose or draw, and the relative point scores of the clans. Now previously I'd used the constant K factor. This period I've moved the system to a variable K factor. The reason I've done this is it more closely aligns the system we're using to the world chess ranking system. That affected some of the starting scores of some of the clans for the period, but basically what the effect it has is that if a clan produces an upset, it will gain more points than it previously did. And what that means is if a good clan loses unexpectedly against low clans, they can fall very fast. But it also means that, like this period where a couple of clans are perhaps dropped lower than you might think in the table, they can come back fast just by producing some good results against some top clans. And so what that means is the ranking system is going to more closely follow form in terms of the rankings. Okay, there's 29 elite clans this ranking period. There's 4 new clans in and 3 clans out. So going through the clans out, so you've got Feng Chan. So they ceased wars on the 8th of June, so they come out of the rankings. But if they come back in, they will come back in on the score they were at if they reform. Next, VN Air Force is out, and the other one is Husha Longsu. They are also out of the group. Now, clans coming in, you've got Ways of War, so that's like Art of War's sister clan. You've got a Russian clan you can see on the chart below, Farming Kings. I'm going to call them KY3 because I can't speak Russian. Also next to them you can see we've got BR Brothers, a Brazilian clan, and coming back in is Peninsula Shield. I've now got access to the logs, they're doing pretty well, and I'm actually also looking at possibly putting Peninsula Shield number 2 in next period. They look like they're warring pretty well. Okay, 47 wars to go through, not 48, so I'll just get into the results. First, VN Champs versus CN1. As you'd expect, the win to VN Champs, 85-82. No points for that win because more than 400 points difference between the clans. Next, Fuzi Xiaolin over Loli and Shushu, 90-85, so they put on 10 3-stars, and quite a win for them, an upset, 150 points for Fuzi Xiaolin. A great win for them. They're obviously hitting great form, beating great clans like that and doing it so well. Next, I think, look, Exodius, I think, took VN Champions by surprise. 74 all in a 35 versus 35 war. As an upset draw, 86 points to Exodius. Next, 300 versus Hitman, 300 being a lot more points above. 18 points to 300. 97-92 win then in 45 versus 45 war. Next, Loli and Shushu versus Thailand Pro. You expect them to win that. that, 67 points, but a really close matchup. And I've heard something about Lolu and Shushu, but I haven't been able to confirm it with the clan leader that they might be making some changes to that clan. But at the moment, I'm just running them in the rankings as usual, running them on the results. But only a 1 3-star win to them, and I guess that's a danger sign for them. 67 points for the win, but I guess a bit of a shaky win. Next, Art of War versus Farming Kings. Art of War being more than 400 points ahead, gets no points for that win. 77-71 win. Getting Dark versus Indo Eternity, same deal, more than 400 points difference, no points for Getting Dark. You'd expect them to win that, but only put on 5 threes, but I guess you don't need to put on any more if you're way in front. Next, we have Feng Chan versus First Arms. Feng Chan, of course, being miles in front of pretty much everyone. 94-90, so not a huge win to them, but you've only got to win by a couple to win, so no points for them in that win. So next, the new Russian clan enters the rankings, and this is a stunning upset, and this shows you how the new ranking system really rewards upsets. So you can see the Russian clan, which came in on 1600 points versus Getting Dark, which was a very high ranked clan, and they win 84-83, huge upset, and that result alone got my attention, and that's what got them into the ranking group. But 215 points for KY3 for that win, and sees them enter the rankings with a bang. Next, Utopia OP versus Lolu and Shushu, a draw there. So a hard-fought war, 5 3-stars each, 51 points for the upset draw to Utopia OP. Next result, 2nd of June. Before I'm going to the next result, I'm seeing one. I just want to make a brief apology. I got one result wrong from last period, and affected their score negatively, but I also, because their log was a bit out of date, and missed a loss, so it ended up about neutral. But I don't like to make mistakes in the rankings. I try and check them as much as I can, so apologies to CN1. I did make one error in the results last ranking. It's been corrected this period. So the first result, CN1 versus Zhao Zhaozing Fu. Keep in mind I don't speak Chinese, so I'm sure that was very funny to the Chinese speakers watching the vid. But 81 all, and you can see pretty close on the rankings, so only 10 points upset for CN1 there in terms of the rankings. Now next, China Rush versus MKMA, huge upset. Now China Rush just charging into up the table with this, 163 points for China Rush with that, 77-75 over MKMA, and that will see them enter the top 10. Next, Fuzi Zhaolin versus VN Champions, also another stunning upset, 104 points for Fuzi Zhaolin, 93-87, a lot of 3 stars in that war. You know, you look at 13 versus 7, so VN Champs fighting hard, but Fuzi Zhaolin just putting on a great war. Next, a huge upset, Getting Dark versus 300, 86 versus 83, 174 points to Getting Dark. That will really hurt 300 points on the table, and that was the Getting Dark, jump back up the ladder after the earlier loss to the Russian clan. Next, new clan to the group, Ways of War, and you can see Low Clan fighting a clan that was a bit further up the table, 248 points for the win, 74-71 versus the new Russian clan. So Ways of War aren't ranked at the moment, but you can see they've started their warlog well. They've actually got 2 elite wars, so next elite war will see them get a ranking. So 4th of June saw MKMA meet Farming Kings. That sees them gets a couple of points back, 74-70 win over Farming Kings, 22 points. Next, CN1, huge win for them versus Indo Celestial, 186 points, 73-70, so that sees them gain some more points up the table. So China Rush versus Shenzhou, I guess China Rush is higher ranked than Shenzhou at the time, so only 22 points for that win. The way this variable K factor works is you actually get less points for wins further up the table. That sort of compresses the group further up the table, but 22 points for China Rush with that, and that sees them advance further up the rankings. Next, MKMA versus In the Dark, huge upset, 11 3-stars versus 6, 133 points for MKMA. Put that result together with their Farming Kings win, that basically grabs their points back from their loss earlier in the period. Next, Exodius Elite versus CN1. Love to see Exodius Elite fighting Elite Wars. 42 points for an upset draw. That sees them gain a couple of point positions on the table. Great win for them, and they enter the elite group this period. So 8th of June, just another stunning result. VN Champions versus In the Dark, 18 3 stars versus 13. Huge win, 129 points. VN Champs putting on that many 3 stars. They are a force to be reckoned with, and wow, that will see them really move up the table after dropping some points to Exodius earlier. Next, Feng Chan's Final War, as you'd expect, a win. Feng Chan versus CN1, 87-80. Feng Chan being more than 400 points out of CN1, no points for them. Next, MKMA versus CN1, 20 points for them, 10 3-star win to Zip on that. So that's a couple more points for them, and that actually proves important later on in terms of the rankings. Next, China Rush versus Exodius Elite. China Rush, as you'd expect, will win that, 75-72, 13 points to China Rush. Next, Saigon by Night versus Exodius. Gosh, it'd be lovely to win some of these wars, but Saigon by Night being much higher ranked up the table, 16 points for Saigon by Night, with their 76-75, very, very close win with a 3-star in the last minutes from my recollection. Next, third elite war for KY3. Look, it just shows you they're definitely an elite clan in the elite group, beating Indo Celestial 82-80, but beating elite clans fairly solidly and putting up some great results, so 34 points for them. Next, Lin Yung versus BR Brothers. Lin Yung, very, very tight war there, 92-91, 68 points for Lin Yung there. Next, VN Champions, huge win over Shenzhou, and look, this is in terms of timing, I find Shenzhou came really good after this war, but VN Champions, look, 9 3-stars, they're really putting it on, well ahead on points at the time when those two matched, so only 16 points for VN Champions there. Next, another huge upset, Shenzhou versus In the Dark, again, 206 points to Shenzhou, so that will see them jump right up the rankings. In the Dark having a tough run, and another loss to them, and are clearly going to fall out of the top 10 with these sorts of results. Next, China Rush versus Indo Eternity, 82-80, more than 400 points difference, no points for that result. So 17th of June, 300 versus Lin Yung, 8 3-stars to 1 on that, solid win for 300, 50 points for them. In the Dark versus 3-1, In the Dark being a bit down the table at this stage, actually get quite a few points for beating CN1 there. Look, you'd expect them to win that war, and 118 points for In the Dark there. Next, Shenzhou versus Exodius. Look, they just killed us, 13 3-stars to 0. Look, I think we gave up after a couple of 3s in that war, because they were just putting on 3 stars at will. They've clearly picked up a couple of players from Feng Chan, I reckon, but they are awesome clan, and with the way they're hitting, I can see them climbing up towards the top of the table. Next, Indo Celestial versus BR Brothers. A upset draw to Indo Celestial there, 135 points to them, as BR Brothers entering the group. Next, clan, tough one for me to pronounce this one. So the Russian clan KY3 versus Zhaozingfu, 72-70 for the Russian clan. As you can see, they're putting on wins against elite clans, going pretty well, 67 points to them. Next, China Rush versus CN1. Now, look, this surprises me. 83-80, that's not many 3-stars from China Rush. Maybe it's midweek, maybe they had their hitters out, but no points for China Rush for that win, but that's not a lot of 3-stars for a clan that's been going so well as them. So a tight war for them, but they get away with no points lost, but no points changed hand because there's more than 400 points difference. Next, Fuzi Zhaolin versus Lin Yung. Expect them to win that, 9 3-stars to 7. Nice to see Lin Yung putting on quite a few 3s there, 19 points to Fuzi Zhaolin there. Next, Shenzhou versus Art of War, huge win there, 15 3-stars to 13. I think they surprised Art of War there actually, but you can see both clans, great clans. Wouldn't want to run into either of them in a dark alley. So 119 points to Shenzhou. Next, In the Dark versus China Rush. Wow, what a result that is. Upset draw to In the Dark. Like, it's kind of funny to say an upset draw when you've got a clan as good as In the Dark, but 62 points for In the Dark for that upset draw, and that sees them bounce back a bit, but they've lost a lot of points earlier and they are out of the top 10. Next, Lowly and Shushu versus Farming Kings, 30 points to Lowly and Shushu with that 4-2 win over Farming Kings. Next, Fuzi Zhaolin versus Indo Eternity, a lot of 3-stars there, look at that. That looks like 14 3-stars versus Zip on that war. Look, they're more than 400 points in front, no points for that win. Next, Getting Dark, Great win for them over Shenzhou. I talked about Shenzhou's hitting, but getting dark, putting on 10 3-stars to 9 in that war. Great war for them, 109 points. Pretty critical in terms of this ranking period, as you'll see later on. Next, Hitmen versus Thailand Pro. So Hitmen, 53 points for the win over Thailand Pro. Then Exodius. This is kind of amazing actually in terms of the matchups. We actually fought Saigon by Night only 10 days before, so I'm not sure what's happening with the matching system, but obviously you can rematch your clan within 10 days. So I don't know if what changes Supercell have made there. But Exodius get one back, 79 to 78 on Saigon by Night. Saigon by Night fought very hard, almost grabbed it, but one 3-star win to Exodius, 173 points to Exodius. Yoo-hoo! So great win for them, but it's an epic battle between our two clans and we're having great fun. Next, Utopia OP versus Exodius Elite. Utopia OP, 59 points for that 4 3-star to 1 3-star win. Final results, Ways of War, second Elite War. So the next one will get them in the ranking group, 25 points for the win over Farming Kings. And finally, MKMA versus BR Brothers. You'd expect them to win that, more than 400 points difference, 88 to 84. Sees the final result of the round. So into the rankings. First rank, rank 28, Indo Celestial. Now just to touch on the rankings, look, rank 28 is pretty good because there's a lot of competition to get into the elite ranking groups. I get lots of clans approach me to get in. So like anyone in the group is a good war clan. Congrats on Indo Celestial on rank 28. One other quick comment on the rankings I'll make before diving into the rest of them is, look, there's lots of mixed results this period. Lots of clans beating each other, all at similar ranks. And so this is the type of period where we've got to trust the ranking system. It's pretty well proven that it's used in other games and other things like chess. So look, it's a very proven ranking system. It's results based, so it's objective, no discretion in it. I just run the numbers. So let's go further into the rankings. Next, rank 27, BR Brothers. So they had a couple of results this period. They lost by 1 to Ling Yung, 92-91, drew with Indo Celestial, and lost to MKMA. So they enter the ranking groups at rank 27. 26, Zhao Zhao Fu. So 2 results this period. They had a draw with CN1 and they had a loss to KY3. So they come in at rank 26. Rank 25, Farming Kings. Rank 24, Indo Eternity. Rank 23, CN1. Now CN1 have been really active in wars this period. They had a loss to VN Champions. They fought Zhao Fu and won that one. They beat Indo Celestial with 186 points for that win. They drew with Exodius Elite. They also, you'd expect them to lose to Feng Chan. They lost to MKMA. They also fought in the dark and lost that one, and also China Rush they fought. So a heck of a lot of wars for them. They're a really active clan at the moment. Some good results for them. 22, Exodius Elite into the group, and they've got 3 elite wars, so great result for them as a starting entry at rank 22. At rank 21, Forest d'Armes, the number 1 French clan. Rank 20, Thailand Pro. Rank 19, Daomen. Rank 18, Fangzhou Bizhou. Rank 17, Lin Yung. They've had 3 matchups this period. They had a win to BR Brothers, only 92-91, so not a particularly great win against a sort of new entrant to the group. They lost to 300 and 98-91 with sort of a pretty big loss there. But then they showed some real form against Fuzi Zhaolin. With a 87-89 loss to Fuzi Zhaolin. Fuzi Zhaolin are going extremely well, so that was a particularly good result at the end of the round. So they're sort of 1 win and 2 losses for the period, but certainly the latest result indicates they're starting to hit some form. At rank 16, the new clan, I call them KY3, the number 1 Russian clan. Look, they've had 3 wins and 1 loss this round, but look, the highlight of the round for them, the 84-83 win over Getting Dark. A stunning win, and one that has a big impact on the rankings. Number 15, Peninsula Shield. Now, they haven't had any matchups this round, but they did have a matchup with Russian clan KY3 last round on 12th of May, and they actually drew 74 all. So it just shows you they're very close in the rankings, those 2 clans. 14, Utopia OP. Look, they've had a win and 1 draw this period. They drew with Loli and Shushu, and had a win against Exodius Elite. Now number 13, a surprise, In the Dark. So they've had 3 losses, 1 win and a draw this period. They've lost to MKMA, VN Champions and Shenzhou. They beat CN1 and drew with China Rush, so a tough one for them. Look, they've got a great roster. I'm sure we'll see them back in the top 10, but down at rank 13. Rank 12, Hitman. Rank 11, Loli and Shushu. Then rank 10, Saigon by Night. They've had 2 Elite Wars this period, both against Exodius. 1 win, 1 loss, and holding rank 10. At rank 9, Exodius, what a period they've had. They had 2 losses, 1 draw, 2 wins, but so they lost against Saigon by Night and also lost against Shenzhou, but they drew with VN Champions, which is a really great result for Exodius, and 2 wins, 1 win against Saigon by Night, and also a win versus Dowman. Rank 8, Art of War. It slips down the ranking slightly this period. They had a win versus Farming Kings, but they lost to Shenzhou in an epic battle, 13 3-stars to 15. So one win and 1 loss. They're down to rank 8. Now rank 7, Shenzhou. Now they've had 3 wins and 3 losses for this period, but I reckon they're a real danger clan, having seen them in action. Look, they lost by 1 to China Rush, and then also lost to VN Champions. But then it seems they came really good. They beat In the Dark 89 to 88. Then they beat Exodius, belted it Exodius actually, that was no fun. And then Art of War they beat in just an epic contest, 15 3-stars to 13, and then lost to Getting Dark only by 1, but they're a real danger clan and I can see them climbing further up the rankings. At rank 6 we have China Rush. Now they're looking awesome. They've had 5 wins and 1 draw this period. They've beaten MKMA, they've beaten Shenzhou, they've beaten Exodius Elite, they've beaten Indo Eternity, they've beaten CN1, and then they've had a tie 91 all within the dark. So what a clan, what form they're in, and they're certainly looking for a spot in the top 5. 5, we have 300. They slip a bit in the rankings. They've had 2 win and 1 loss this period. They beat Hitman and Lin Yung, but they lost to Getting Dark just by 1, so that sees them slip slightly in the rankings to rank 5. At rank 4, VN Champions. Now they might be a threat for number 1, because I know after the ranking period they've had a win versus China Rush, but that doesn't make the current point scores. But so they're certainly a threat for the top spot. But during the ranking period, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. They beat CN1. They drew with Exodius. They lost to Fuzi Zhao Lin, but they beat In the Dark. And they also beat Shenzhou, so some really big wins in that period. If not for that loss to Fuzi Zhao Lin and the draw to Exodius, they would be number 1. But all results count, and so. But look, the interesting thing is they just beat China Rush after the ranking period. They're certainly a threat for being number 1 next period. At number 3, Fuzi Zhao Lin. Now these guys have seemingly come from nowhere. They've had 4 wins and no losses this period. They beat Loli and Shushu. They beat VN Champions. They beat Lin Yung and also the Indo Eternity. So haven't they come out of nowhere? And rank 3. At rank 2, Getting Dark, continuing their climb up the rankings. They're almost the quiet achievers, apart from Fuzi Zhao Lin. But Getting Dark, 3 wins, 1 loss this period. They beat Indo Eternity. They had that killer loss to the top Russian clan, KY3, and that's why they're ranked 2. They beat 300, and they also beat Shenzhou. So they're running really hot. Just 1 upset loss away from being number 1. But congratulations to Getting Dark, number 2 in the world, which makes the number 1 clan in the world right now, MKMA. Congratulations to them. They've had 4 wins and 1 loss this period. The loss was towards the start of the period versus China Rush, and that actually pushed them down to rank 9. But with 4 wins following, versus Farming Kings, versus In the Dark, versus CN1, and against BI Brothers, that's pushed them back up to number 1. Only just, but just is enough to be world number 1, and so they're top of the pile. But look, there's a lot behind them. It's very close at the top, and I think this is going to be very hard fought in this next period. So a quick look at the points tables. So here we've got ranks 11 to 28. Just touch on the new clans to the group. BI Brothers coming at 27. Zhaozing Fu at 26 have just got their 3 Elite Wars, so they come in the group there. Exodius Elite have come in at number 22. We've had the Russian clan sort of burst into the group at rank 16, and of course we've had Peninsula Shield come in at back in at rank 15. So they're the new ones to the group. Look, the key surprise here is in the dark, but we're only like 250 points out of number one, and with the change to ranking systems and a couple of upsets, they can get back up very quickly. So that's the lower half of the table. As for the top 10, look, what I want to do is just focus on ranks 1 to 4. Look, 2029 to 2073, one decent win against any clan around their level, and that will move any of those clans into top spot, which is very interesting given that VN champions beat China Rush immediately after the ranking period. But look at the top 3, 2060 to 2073, 13 points difference. They're basically level. It is just very tightly contested at the top. So congratulations to all the clans in the top 10, and look at the fight for the top. Next period is going to be awesome. Now to take us out, we have to do a tribute to Feng Chan. Look, they're an awesome clan, number one, and they got to a position where they were virtually untouchable, miles ahead of the rest of the clans in the table. All respect to them. So just finishing with a tribute to Feng Chan, and I had some replays from an old war versus MKMA, so all the 3 stars you see on the replay are from an old war versus MKMA. Congratulations to Feng Chan for not just being a great number one clan, but also doing it with style. Never seen any trash talking from them. They always just played it on form and hit and showed how good they were just through great hitting. So all respect to them, and sad to see them go, but I'm sure many of their players will go to other elite clans, and we're sure to see many more great replays.
But I never really knew that it was so